Late October evening shrouded the house in twilight. Claire sat at the old oak table in the kitchen, the same place where, 30 years ago, she and Daniel had planned their wedding. Now, the tabletop was covered in bills and receipts, and the yellow light of the old lamp, bought with their first paycheck, gave the papers a sickly tint. Claire absent-mindedly adjusted her reading glasses, a new habit that had appeared after 55. Strands of grey had slipped from her hastily gathered bun, but she didn't even notice, immersed in the study of the documents. Something intangible had shifted in their lives over the past few months. Daniel, once so open, had become like a ghost, appearing late, speaking little, and always placing his phone face down. "Daniel," she called, examining an envelope with a bank logo. The red, urgent stamp looked almost like it was screaming. "What is this letter?" Her husband, pretending to be absorbed in the evening paper, flinched so suddenly that his teacup clinked against the saucer. Claire noticed how the knuckles of his fingers, gripping the paper, turned white, how sweat beaded on his forehead despite the chill in the house. "Nothing important work stuff." His voice sounded unusually high. Daniel almost snatched the envelope from her hands, but Claire managed to catch a glimpse of the amount. A 6-digit number flashed before her eyes like that same red stamp. The next day, she sat at their favorite cafe, Chez Nina, with Helen, where they had met every Wednesday for the past 15 years. Her old friend looked unusually tense, fidgeting with a napkin in her plump, well-manicured fingers. "Claire," Helen began, and something in her tone made Claire's heart clench. "Do you remember Mrs. Whitmore, the real estate agent? I ran into her at the store yesterday. She asked how you were settling in after selling the land plot." "What plot?" Claire felt her lips go numb. "The one that belonged to your parents. She said the deal went through a month ago." The porcelain cup in Claire's hands trembled, hot tea spilling onto the tablecloth, spreading into an ugly brown stain. That plot was the last thing left from her parents. There stood the old apple tree her father had planted the year she was born. There, every summer, her mother tended her beloved flower garden. There lay all their family dreams of a small house where children and grandchildren would gather. "But I didn't sign anything," Claire whispered, feeling reality slipping through her fingers like sand in the surf. October twilight thickened outside the windows as Claire returned home after meeting with Helen. The hallway smelled of cinnamon. That morning she had put an apple pie in the oven, Daniel's favorite treat. Now that cozy aroma seemed like a mockery of their once happy family life. Taking off the beige coat, a gift from her husband last Christmas, she mechanically hung it in the closet, where every item held memories of shared shopping trips, little surprises, 30 years of life together. The old staircase to the attic greeted her with a drawn-out creak. Every step remembered how she and Daniel had climbed there, hiding Christmas presents from each other, how little Emily played hide-and-seek there, how the whole family once sorted through old photo albums. The dim light bulb under the ceiling barely illuminated the space filled with boxes of keepsakes, old toys, and yellowed books. In the far corner stood her father's safe, massive, aged bronze in color. Claire remembered how her dad had handed her the key. "Keep your most important things here, sweetheart." Inside was a worn leather briefcase, soaked with the scent of thyme and tobacco. Her father had always smoked Bellowmore, though her mother constantly scolded him for it. With trembling fingers, Claire began sifting through the documents. Each paper carried a piece of their life's story. Their marriage certificate with a dried rose petal. Daniel had insisted on a traditional ceremony. Emily's birth certificate with a tiny footprint. Documents for their first apartment, bought on credit, which they had paid off for 10 years, denying themselves almost everything. And there it was, the folder with documents for the land plot. 1,500 square meters on the edge of town, where her parents' house once stood. Claire remembered every corner. The old apple tree under which she and her mother used to set the Sunday table, raspberry bushes along the fence, where she used to hide as a child, the bench her father had built with his own hands. After the fire that destroyed the house 5 years ago, she and Daniel had planned to build something new there, but never got around to it. And now, among the yellowed pages was a fresh document, a purchase agreement dated 3 months ago. Claire felt a wave of nausea rising to her throat, her signature almost exactly like hers, but deep down she knew it was a forgery. The amount of the deal took her breath away. 3 million rubles. Where was that money? Why then had the bank sent a letter about debt? Downstairs, the front door slammed. That familiar sound. It used to bring joy. Her husband was home from work, and soon they'd dine together, talk about their day. Now each step Daniel took up the stairs pounded in her temples like a drumbeat.